All right, y'all. So right now it's Sunday.
But I don't know how it's going to be. So I decided to do this before you mention or my mustache or my eyebrows or anything, because then
Gente My People, we're in the building, y'all. That's a mic check. It's on the 4 o'clock. New York City's in the house. Started raining. That was really crazy. Just came out of the blue. So you know, New York City weather, 75 degrees. The low's going to be 73. And we got thunderstorms in the area right now, so you might want to get inside. Don't get shocked. It's heavy in these streets right now. Give me a chance to get the chat room going, get your notifications, all that stuff, and make sure the cameras is right. You got a notification? We want to thank you for tuning in for Gente My People. Once again, we do this every Saturday at 4 o'clock. We talk about everything's NYCHA. I see the room is populating. That's what I like to see. You like to see the people. Since the show's about the people, I like to see the people. Make sure you share the show on your pages too. I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's all about you sharing. Yep, give me all a chance. Ah, there we go. Okay. So that's how I know the notifications are a little wacky. My cell phone came in late. Ah, there we go. Okay. Just making sure the live is up. Once again, this is the One NYCHA show, and we have special guest in today. I'll let y'all know about that in a minute. It's a special guest. Special. We're going to hear some thrilling stuff. Hey, what's up, Latins in the building? Lena Reyes. What's happening? Once again, 79 degrees in New York City. Thunderstorms are happening, moving through the area. And we're going to go down to a low of 73. The high today was 91. That carried over from last night. Because last night, man, was hot as a slave ship. If you didn't have AC, I felt bad for you. We had a powerful show last night. And now I'm going to hit the button and we're going to go to work. Once again, you're now checking out the Gente My People show, right? With the host with the most, CC Claudia Perez is in the building. She's got a special guest. We have a live in-studio guest today, which is powerful. And I know I've been out of loop for a little while. She had Cynthia Tibbs in when I was gone, which was dope. Big shout out to Bismarck. Rest in peace to Bismarck. You know what I'm saying? That was sort of a big deal yesterday. That whole thing happened while I was on the air when he passed. He passed at 6:30. We went on at 7. And I was in the room with Maria Davis, who's like a super music promoter. She's been rocking since 94, responsible for certain careers like Jay-Z and Damon Dash and the Loonies and the Goody Mob and all that. So she did us a favor yesterday, and she contacted Fly Tide, the president and owner of Cold Chillin' Records. And Fly came on, and he spoke for about 45 minutes about Bismarck and the whole Cold Chillin' family and Big Daddy Kane, and he told us some stories about some of the records that they made. It was dope. Once again, let's get your watch party started. Share. Matter of fact, who's talking? I need to share. I ain't sharing. Hold on, I'm bugging out. Let me get my share on. Boom, boom. Yeah, let me post that. Word up, we're back again, y'all. And CC Perez has a powerful show today. Tales to Astonish. And bang. Hey, what's up? Yes, Anita Stone's in the building. Hillary's in the building. Hey, what's up? Yeah, Rock is here. And that's some of my Friday night crowd that's actually here because it went out through the Real Discussion page. And this show is called Gente My People, and that's the host, Claudia CC Perez. We talk about a lot of issues. We talk about NYCHA issues and political issues, and we talk about, the disparagement that goes on in NYCHA and a lot of things that happen. And we talk policy on this show. We talk about the blueprint and Section 9 and Section 8 and it goes from that to, people that have bad toilets. So it can go anywhere you want it to go. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Let me get a quick mic check. Cece, you in the building?
Absolutely.
That's right. Special guest, you in the building?
I'm in the building.
All right, you should move a little closer to the mic. Now I got to say it again.
Better?
Yeah, that's great. That's it. All right, so at this stage of the game, I'm going to turn it over. Once again, big shout out to Anita Stone. Thank you for tuning in. And I got to tell you, you missed a crazy show last night. You better see the Real Discussion with Rock Logic. See the replay. It was dope, Anita. Latin was in the building last night, and she had a good time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to turn the show over to the host with the most, straight out of Washington houses, Claudia CC Perez. What's up, Claudia?
Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Happy Saturday. It's sunny inside. I don't know what happened today, but that weather is crazy.
If you didn't have an umbrella, you was had.
Ooh, that's definite. But shout out to the NYCHA world out there. You see Chuck Schumer, he's pushing more bills out there. We're in that infrastructure bill for that $80 billion. It should be coming down. So again, we say no to RAD, which is real ass displacement. We say no to PAC, to the pre-assessment compensation test. And we also say no to the blueprint, which is all a form of Section 8 housing, converting our Section 9 and where we have most of our rights. Basically, that was created around our civil rights. I mean, we could touch along all those topics too, because we have to look at what's going on in Georgia and the climate that's going on. We really have to pay attention to what's going on, because slowly it is not United States anymore. We are just states, and civil rights is being rolled back, y'all. I don't know if y'all understand the climate or what's going on, but civil rights is being rolled back. But today I have one of my besties here who's here with me. Let's talk about the week. The week has been very interesting. It's been really rough for me. It's a lot going on in my development, as well as all developments. And I see that, what one faces, all faces. So basically, we are all in the same mess. Right. But we're going to take it on a lighter note. And I have Miss Adama Ba here. She's a East Harlem, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens. It's no borough she don't touch.
I heard she likes to get into good trouble.
Good trouble? We don't do trouble.
We don't do trouble.
We don't do trouble? We don't do good trouble?
We don't do trouble. Yeah, good. We don't do trouble. What we do is we change the spectrum. That's what I'm going to say. Okay. We change the spectrum. And I'm excited to have you here today. I just want to say thank you.
Of course. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so we just going to start off. I want you to introduce yourself to the people.
Sure. My name is Adama Ba. I am formerly undocumented. I arrived in the United States at 2 years old. I didn't know I was undocumented until I was 16, in handcuffs, in Federal Plaza, being questioned by FBI.
Where'd you come from?
My family is originally from Guinea, Conakry, West Africa.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So because of my story, I've been advocating for immigration reform.
Can you, See, y'all need to understand that we as NYCHA residents, we are all across the board, all of us. So, Adama, can you just elaborate a little more, because you said you threw it out there like, oh, I was here from 2 and then I didn't realize I was under. Can you just delve into that? I want to know your story.
Word up. You just kind of went, whoop. I'm like, hold on. Let's hear this. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, please.
So after 9/11, a lot of innocent, undocumented Muslims were being detained in huge numbers. They would accuse them of terrorism, post them on the news, and you would never hear about them again. So unfortunately, I was one of the victims. So they rounded me up under the Patriot Act. Under the Patriot Act, you didn't have to have evidence. You could just, because they were suspicious, you can just grab them up.
What caused them to say that you were suspicious? Like, what did they, like, how did it happen? Because
hold on. What happened from 2 to 16? That's what I'm at with. Let's start there. Let's start from 2 to 16.
So I grew up in East Harlem. I went to elementary school, daycare, everything in East Harlem. So East Harlem is my home. So when I do my community work, I give back to the community that was there for me at my lowest point in my life. So I was a normal teenager, I guess.
Right.
At least I think I was.
Right, just going to school every day.
Every day.
Thinking that you're an American citizen, or right, that you didn't have any, like, just regular.
Just regular.
Just you were allowed to go to school, you were allowed to participate in everything as an American citizen.
So then what happened? From
What triggered the bomb?
I know you said 9/11.
So I know 9/11 has something to do with it. But as far as why they targeted me, we never got an answer. We speculated, my friends and I, we sat and said maybe because we were going to a mosque, maybe they were investigating, because after 9/11, they were investigating a lot of mosques.
Right.
They had a lot of undercover FBI informants in the community. But we don't know. I was never really given an answer as to why.
So you were detained.
I was detained for
how long?
6.5 weeks.
And where'd they pick you up at?
They picked me up in East Harlem.
Was it like, were you at home or school?
No, I was sleeping.
You were
To
sleeping.
your home. So basically, okay, see, because you being invasive.
Yeah, you gotta go in there.
I'm here to break it down.
Yeah.
So basically, you are a resident in the United States. Your parents came when you were 2 years old. They brought you over here when you were 2 years old. Mm-hmm. You were living in a NYCHA development. Mm-hmm. And after 9/11, all of a sudden, you got a knock at your door just for you, not for anybody else in your family?
So 9/11 happened when I was 13. Let's just be clear.
Okay.
So I'm 16 years old. They
3
knock
years.
in the apartment and they come into the bedroom, whip the blankets off my head, and ask me to get up.
Just you.
All my siblings. I live with my siblings.
Okay.
So it
And my
was
family.
everybody
It was
in the
everybody
household.
has to
Okay.
come to the living room. But I don't want to go too much into details because the book is coming out and you guys have to read it. So
We knew there was a hook here. 'Cause she was
saving that. I was
But,
saving that. But yeah.
I can't go. The book tells you about
So tell us what we
to
can
details.
hear.
But, pretty much they came into the apartment and woke us up and made us go to the living room. But as I'm walking to the living room, I'm noticing the jackets. So you see FBI, you see NYPD, Terrorism Task Force.
Right.
You see different agencies. But those were the ones that were mostly stood out was ICE and the FBI.
Because
and
you saw
NYPD.
those big letters on their
Not only that, they were
uniform.
just aggressive. So
Sure.
you just remember people who are aggressive,
So here it is. You're a 16-year-old. Don't know what's going on. You have all these authorities, and I'm pretty sure they had guns.
Oh, yeah.
Were they drawn?
No, they were not drawn, thank God.
Okay. Anyway, we're going to continue from there. So after, how long did it take you to go through all of this? Because I'm going to just tell y'all, can I tell him?
Go ahead.
All right. She is now becoming a United States citizen, and I'm so excited. We will have the exclusive there, as much as Adama will allow us to have. But yeah, we're gonna do some citizenship on the show, y'all. But
Wow.
that's what it's about. So how long?
I just had a question. At what point did you realize you wasn't a citizen?
When they came.
Because now here the FBI is like, what did they say? They go, okay, you're not a citizen. Like,
No.
how did that?
So after picking us up from our apartment, they transported us to, at that point, I didn't know where I was going. I was only 16. But later on, I found out it was Federal Plaza. That's where most of the interrogation took place.
And if you want to know more, read the book. No, for real. I don't know why you didn't bring it. It was like miscommunication.
Oh, you already have the book.
Yes.
No, I don't have the copy, but it's
You
coming
could
in the mail.
purchase.
Can I buy the book?
Yes, you
Yes.
can.
I can go like what, Amazon?
Any bookstore, Amazon.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell the name of the book.
Please.
Come on, let's go.
It's actually my name, and it's called The Story of Injustice.
Okay, it's Adama Ba. Adama. Adama Ba. Bah. And what's the title again?
My Story of Injustice.
My Story of Injustice.
I want to read that.
Absolutely. I told you. I knew I had to bring her
Yeah.
just for that. And
That's fascinating.
once I read the book and it's out, I want to bring you back. Because you know I'm going to have questions. Like, I'm going to be all up in that.
Yeah, 'cause this is bigger than
I'm
a busted toilet. I'm just saying. Like, like this is like,
Not a
I'm
nice
intrigued.
No, but this is the thing,
I'm
and
intrigued.
this is why I have the guests that I have on Mi Gente My People.
See, in the room,
Because-
Anita Stone, she said, "What's the name of the book?" Thank you
Let's
for doing
go.
that.
Yes.
Right? And she's like, "Hell yeah!" She's like, "Okay, yeah, we gotta get the book going."
Yes, thank you. But yeah, that's the point. NYCHA, it's so many different, like, I keep saying amazing because it's like every time you're astonished at the people and the work. It's the work that is coming out of the campuses, because I don't even call my NYCHA development. I don't call it a development. It's a campus, because we're
I like that.
located within a community. And what happens is we get lost in the struggle, because we could sit here and talk about all the garbage and everything else about NYCHA, and these stories, like all the Adama Bas, that's what I want to bring to light.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she is the second author that we actually are talking about on the book, because we have the young man from
wow.
the development who has fibromyalgia. And he-
Your book just popped up in the chat room.
there you go. Thank you, Anita Stone. Yes, I'm so excited.
Okay.
But let's talk about, because we talk about that now. Let's talk about, since we know you've gone through this, you have the book. What has your life been like since then?
I think the trauma, you live with the trauma. But one of the biggest things is that I saw other people going through it, so I wanted to advocate. I've always wanted to advocate on a political level, but I wasn't welcome in that room. Mm-hmm. So I've decided to advocate on an individual level. So I have families across the borough who contact me. Within the immigrant community, I think it's any community, but within an immigrant community, you help one, they refer you another person. They're like, oh, I know who can help you with
So
this.
you help immigrants in the community
In the community.
of all nationalities?
Of all nationalities. If I don't speak the language, I'll find someone that speaks the language.
Okay, so you're an advocate for the immigrant families in the community.
You can say that, yeah.
Don't let me drag this out, because I know what you do. I could go down the laundry list. I want you to sit, like,
But
really,
pretty
this
much
is
it
your
is.
space.
You want to, but it's not just advocating for them. It's also teaching them how to advocate for themselves. Because it's one thing if I advocate for you, but it's another thing if you advocate for yourself. Because in some spaces, I cannot be there. I cannot go with you if you're going to immigration office unless I'm an attorney. So I'll teach you what you need to say. I'll connect you with an attorney. But there's a lot of resources out there, and people don't
know about the
they don't know about it.
resources. And this is another key point that I've been talking about, is that, and that's where I think Mi Gente can come in, because there's lots of resources in multiple communities that we don't know about, that we don't utilize, and we lose them because guess what? They are not meeting their quota, and they pull the funding because we don't know about them. So we want this space to be a shared space. That's why I brought you on here. So let's just say I'm someone and I'm tuning in right now, and I need help. And what specific immigration or whatever help can you offer a person? How can they get in contact with you? How can they go about receiving services?
So usually my clients or my families are what I call them. Mm-hmm. They usually are referred, so they share my number around. But if you find me on Facebook, you can email me. However you want to do it, just reach out.
Buy the book.
Your Facebook page is what?
It's my name,
Adama Ba.
Adama Ba.
I'm telling you.
and it's public. It's not private.
Listen, we're going to incorporate your name because we don't want no imitators.
Yeah, we don't want no frauds. None of that going on here. Wow. Okay.
But one of the things is that if you need help, you need to reach out, like you said, any way you can. And within the immigrant community, especially with our last administration, they're so afraid. They don't trust our city officials. They don't trust the government. So they want to go to, and I'm just me. I don't.
Can we say they even are afraid of going to management in NYCHA to ask for repairs? Let's talk about that.
So,
I just want to say, Anita brought the book. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
Thank you. When it comes to management in NYCHA, you have to understand they're very disrespectful. I've even had a lot of experience with the disrespect. My parents, their English is not great, and because their English is not great, they like to talk to them anyhow and disrespect them. So a lot of times I have to go down in the management office and let them know what it is. A lot of times I'm sending out emails. Again, because I'm not a resident, I cannot always go with the
Not
families.
a resident anymore.
Well, I'm not a resident for some of the developments that the families come from.
Okay.
So I cannot, go downstairs with them. So what I tell them is, well, I know an attorney who can help you. Contact Urban Justice. I don't know about legal aid right now because they're for this
Urban
RAD
Justice
program.
League, that's free legal services
free legal
all
service.
across the city for people who need help. It's called Urban Justice League.
Take Root is another amazing organization.
Call them out.
Bronze Defenders.
I want y'all here on them show. We calling you out. I'm going to be contacting you.
These are great. For me, ACLU is an amazing. These are people you can just reach out to for support. But if you don't reach out, nobody will help you.
And that seems to be like one of the major problems in our community because a lot of us need help and we know we need the help, but we will not ask for the help.
We're afraid. We're afraid of the outcome.
So that makes the immigrants in NYCHA invisible.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they don't want to be seen. So they move very quietly.
They tuck their head down and they keep it moving. And point an example, everybody should have known now about the shower leaking water from last week that I had all over the pages and stuff, right? So they did fix it for that day, but it's more work that was needed. But what I'm bringing it back to and saying that they become invisible is because if this resident didn't know me, their English is very limited and they're Asian. And we have a large Asian community that is being pushed uptown into NYCHA developments, and there aren't anybody to communicate with them. So they do not feel comfortable speaking outside of their language or even communicating with management because of the way that they are treated on an every day-to-day basis. So my thing is, and what I'm pushing my management to do, I want somebody who speaks Asian. We in El Barrio, okay? 50% of my development is Hispanic. They don't even have a Spanish-speaking person in there right now. You understand what I'm saying? So there again, and we have to also remember, a lot of these people are seniors, are they not?
They are.
And they are already susceptible to things, So at the end of the day, we have to reach the people in the community, and it comes from what do? We do conversation.
Well, remember what happened during the pandemic. We had lines around the block, and we had no one to translate. We were looking for a Fujianese, Mandarin, and Cantonese. We reached out to every city official, every individual.
Nobody had it.
Nobody helped us.
Let's
it took
go
that
back.
young man to help us.
We're going to go back now because you just brought that up because that is your thing. I'm going to tell y'all, when everybody talk about East Harlem and getting food, this girl right here.
It was us. It was all.
Not she say us. It was her. Because let me tell you something. Without Adama Ba, it wouldn't have been no truck.
Was us.
It wouldn't have been no truck. All I did was figure out who to put together to distribute it. Right. Without food, it would have been nothing to distribute. And it wouldn't have been no food. Let me tell you something. And we started like at the pandemic. She came to me and she says, Claudia, she says, I got a truck. She said, but I don't have nowhere to unload it. And you know me, you tell me. I said, bring it here.
Right.
I said, bring
Park
it
it right here on 2nd Avenue.
That's what she said. Park it right here, second hour.
She was
I'ma
like,
close
they
it down.
giving her trouble. They was giving her trouble with the truck. Whatever the problem was, it's just she needed a spot where she can know distribution without any fuss or muss. Right. And that's a whole nother topic. I'm not gonna touch it with you because she see what y'all have to understand too. When you bring in services like that to the community, particular people become intimidated and they try to stop it because they want in on it. And it's not about wanting in on it. It's for the people. And the way me and Adama did it, you have to understand, we were low key. We were low key. It wasn't if it was any Facebook or anything, it was because this girl was putting it on there.
Right.
Because you already know from the youth thing. I was like, well, everybody else had my pictures. Yeah. But if it wasn't for her doing that and having those resources, like the whole East Side wouldn't have had any food. We fed 30 developments. We worked out a system.
Okay.
It was more than 30.
So now I have to ask you, like, how big was the truck?
The truck was an 18-wheeler. Go ahead.
Yeah, please.
It was an 18-wheeler PCNY because the federal government knew that the community was hungry. So they provided these contracts. So PCNY was one of them.
And PCNY is who?
His name is Wayne. For? You can find. I don't know what it stands for.
Okay.
Sorry, Wayne.
We just
but you can find him on Instagram.
PCNY.
Yes.
So we know New York is the end. Okay.
Yeah.
They really cool too. Talk about how they did just talk about the rollout.
Go ahead.
So, they trusted me and they were like, here's the truck. You tell me where you need it. And I'm like, Claudia, where are we going to drop it off? We dropped it off in her development. And Claudia contacted all the TA presidents, because I'm not a TA president, she was. So I don't have access to all those contacts. So she was able to contact everyone. People came in with trucks, cars,
whatever they rolled up with.
We filled it up.
We filled it up. And
how many meals were on the truck?
It's not meals. It was fresh fruit,
just
vegetables.
Fresh fruit. Oh.
We had everything in there. Like sometimes we even had produce, sometimes we didn't. But this was also on a weekly basis. Let me tell you something. It was 1,400 22-pound boxes that we unleashed on this city every week from March all the way. Well, I was with her from March till September. And then after September, we had to move her along because I felt like, here, butterfly, you grew your wings. You're not a caterpillar. Go out there. No, I'm going to be really honest.
Yeah.
Like the crew, and we was on a skeleton crew because it was
women in the beginning. It was just us four.
You gotta give props to my husband and my volunteers.
No, but in the beginning it was just us four, and then he came down. He felt bad for us, and he helped us.
So y'all were distributing the food by yourselves.
It was me and my board members. Like I'm gonna tell you, it's my board members. It was Tammy out there, Pop out there. You understand what I'm saying? And it was only as Adama started putting it on live that more and more people started coming. Mm-hmm. So, and then it also became a thing where it was, are you getting boxes? Can I get this amount? You gave so-and-so that amount. Why can't I get this amount? And I'm like, yo, are you serious? Do you even know what it takes? And then it came to a point where they started pulling up their cars and they wanted us to start filling it up. So then that's when you get the internal. But the overall thing about it is that it worked. It worked so well that up to today, they're still talking about it. They asking for it back. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You understand? They're asking for it back. Sure. And it did a great service. And what was so special about my girl Adama here, you know what I mean, is that we were able to share within a NYCHA community. And when I say NYCHA community, I mean like all the way from where was she gonna get Dykeman? Oh yeah. All the way from Dykeman, all the way down to the Lower East Side.
They were coming.
East Side and we had
all the boroughs.
We had everybody coming.
We had all the boroughs.
To the point where it was just they would look at me and call me Box. My name was Box.
Right.
Box
hey,
lady.
Box lady.
Yeah, Box lady. No box. No box. Even the Asians.
I said no box. No box.
I remember you kept saying, I don't want to hear boxes after this truck ever again.
Absolutely. But our lines were ridiculous. When I
just want to answer something in the chat room real quick. Anita asked, that was one time. And no, it was every week from March till September.
months.
It was months of them doing that.
That's as long
every
as
week.
I did it. Adama still does it up to this day. I don't know
Okay.
how big her truck is and stuff. Adama is still
So
doing it.
the USDA boxes unfortunately has been canceled, so it's something different now. So it's dried fruits, not vegetables, perishables. But it's just different things now. Unfortunately, the federal government saw that it's not a need anymore.
Right.
But you have to understand the people who made that decisions make billions of dollars, and they're not affected by this. But then, one thing you definitely said earlier is when you knock on a door, and during the pandemic, when we knocked on these doors to deliver food, each person has a different story. And I remember when we were in the line, I want to tell you my testimony. I would hear people say that. Remember the lady who lost her card and didn't have no food? There were so many stories that I could tell you we could write a book about the pandemic and the families that we took care of.
Not only that, we didn't just take care of the people. When I say community, you had the nail salon workers who were in the community who would come and pick up groceries from us, and why we fed them is because guess what? They were the same Asians that help us communicate with the Asians in our community. Mm-hmm. We went to the nail salons, we went to the African hair braiders, because guess what we found out? They lived in our developments too. Mm-hmm. So we were dropping off food not only to NYCHA residents and community, but we gave back to the businesses, the small businesses in the community who they were suffering, and up to now are still trying to access those business loans to come up, and they still haven't been able to access that. Mm-mm. So guess what? If you coming into my community, yes, you coming to make money, but guess what? I know you from the community, and that's what it is about me. Like the lady that does my nails, I've been going to her for 15 years. The lady that does my hair, I've been going to her for over 20 years. And these are people who stayed in the community. They are not Asian. You understand what I'm saying when it comes to that? But at the same time, I want them to stay in the community. So if I could help you by offering you a meal, you understand what I'm saying? Because come on, a lot of people be trying to finagle with their nails. They be like, oh no, they say $5. They be trying to lowball them to like $2 and $3. But you gotta understand, it takes time. People are putting in work. Adama's, she got her little hair braiding skills too. You understand?
Come on, don't put that out. Everybody's gonna call me now.
Like, can you braid my hair? Yeah.
Definitely, you a jack of all trades.
And give me some food, right?
There you go. And she's a foodie too. She loves.
I love food.
I mean,
you got me addicted to this truck during the pandemic, because I'm telling you, we wouldn't have breakfast. We would show up. We were so hungry. By the time that truck finished, I was like, what are we gonna eat?
Listen, no. Then I would go into overtime because they would leave me, right? Because after we unloaded that truck, the same day we would get 1,500 hot meals.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
No, it was 500, so it's 1,500 a week. So so we have the truck that one day a week, and then in my development, I was getting 500 hot meals. And when I say hot meals, I was getting from Melba's, I was getting from Sylvia's, I was getting from a lot of local mom and pop shops through World Central Kitchen. And those were specifically very good for the seniors, the heat and eat. So they came down for that, and if we're going to talk about food, I also used to get about 25 boxes of canned goods from the Gail Brewer's office. But that was just food distribution. Adama, you do more than that.
Yeah, move on. I want to hear more about you.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that I mostly do right now is just to advocate for immigration reform. And that's just on an individual level. That's the thing that I could talk about the most. Because the families are, unfortunately, I cannot share their stories. That's their job to share their stories. But recently, one of them just graduated high school. And I'm like, wait a minute. I've been with your family that long? Because the last time I remember, he was starting first grade. And I'm like, I feel old. Yeah. But I can only talk about what I've experienced. The trauma that I've gone through is what I use to help my community.
Do you think NYCHA added to that trauma?
Of course, NYCHA, and it's because during that time, once I was released, rent became an issue, repairs became an issue.
Targeted.
But we just didn't want to touch anything. We didn't want to contact them and make it a big deal when I'm already dealing with the government.
Right.
So we owed a lot of rent. And so they kept, instead of contact us and seeing how they can help us, because NYCHA has resources. They can provide like a rent assistance if you're having trouble, or this resident's going through something is wrong. We've never been late for rent, and all of a sudden we are. They could have said something is going on. They could have made it easier on us and helped us, but no, send us to court. And we were facing eviction several times actually.
So you was actually facing eviction while she was facing being deported.
Right. You was losing the whole thing.
I mean, everything, when, the saying, when it rains, it pours, that's what was happening in my life. Things were just falling apart.
So my thing to you is, how was school?
So I ended up having to drop out of high school to work. I was 17 years old. So because I was undocumented, I couldn't do regular jobs. So I had to do books, under table books jobs. Off the books. So that meant restaurant jobs, babysitting, cleaning, anything that I can find. And those jobs are usually found through other undocumented individuals. Like, hey, do you know a job? Do you know this? Just by making phone calls. And, thankfully I was able to find jobs. And the last job I had before I received my status was a nanny. And I stayed a nanny for a long time. But I ended up graduating high school, ended up going back to college. Okay. And things worked out at the end. But, fortunately, I had to go through all that.
It's not the end because you're still going, girl. Stop saying the end. But it did work out for that time.
It did work out. It did.
Okay, I'm happy for you. So what are our next steps? Like, because I know you have this ceremony coming up. What's that about?
So the ceremony, unfortunately, was postponed. So they're going to have a new date. So we're going to wait for the date. But in the meantime, NYCHA, where my parents live, is going under something called RAD. And of course, everyone knows how I feel about RAD. I'm not for it.
Why are you not for it? Can you just explain why you're not for it?
So RAD changes housings for the next 100 years. It's going from public hands to private. When it goes under private, you can no longer control it. And I've been to these RAD meetings and listen to them talk. They're saying, well, under RAD, you're protected this. They're making it seem like all of a sudden there's new laws to protect residents when these laws were already in place. We're moving on to another program, and we have not held NYCHA accountable. We have lost billions and billions of dollars already. None of the residents are really involved in this conversation. It's them telling us what they're going to do, and that's the biggest issue I have. I don't like people making decisions for me when I can speak for myself. So RAD, it's like I said, the biggest thing that I'm against it is taking away from public and putting it in private. And we don't know who that private entity is. You don't know what they'll tell you. They said they will tell you who buys it. But still, it's.
So you're saying you don't have a choice in who's going to run?
No. From what I understand, you do not have a choice who your private entity is. It's
so like I could be the private entity, let's say.
Yes, you can.
Like just like that, just anybody.
Anybody.
Basically, right? If
Any
you have the resources.
billion-dollar owner.
Yeah, if you have the resources.
You can
have the
own it.
resources to do.
See, and that's the point in when I talk about resident management. Because if we come through with the resident management, we could then circle back for those RAD and PAC conversions. Because then we can become the resident management for those particular developments that are going under RAD, because right now we all know that that's illegal. Everything you said just now is illegal, because when you said that they're telling you, they're not asking you, they're not giving you a choice. And one of the most important things that you did say about that, right, is that even though they're trying to turn all of this from Section 9, they trying to move these regulations into Section 8, it doesn't fit the same way, and it's not written in stone. It's not law. Under Section 9 public housing, all of that is already written there. It's in black and white, and it's law. So you're going to say you're going to convert me, and you're going to try to include all of this stuff. But what happens when the private investor goes, I don't want to do that. Guess what? You already signed it over, so it's going through.
I think the problem with the privatization of NYCHA is the privatization of the jails, right? Because you have these jails, these prisons that are also privatized, right? Now you're privatizing a development, right? And you're saying it could be anybody. So now I own a jail, right? Then I go, okay, I'm going to own ... houses, right? Okay, now I got me a nice little pipeline going on. You know what I'm saying? Because now I can hire a security force or even manipulate the police force or whatever I need people for my jail. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a big problem because now you're creating these paradoxes of these almost like slave labor. You know what I'm saying? Like to be able to do that. You know, because I know if I own a jail and I own a development, guess what? And I know we got criminals in the development. I'm like, you know what? Numbers is down this month. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really the danger of that. And I don't think anybody's even looking at it from that standpoint or even addressing it like that. But that's a real scenario that somebody could really do. You know, and why would you privatize public housing?
Yeah.
Because it's prime real estate.
100%.
Let's be real about
where we
it.
are located, Wilson House is right by the East River. We have a great view. We're right by Randers Island. But one of the things that I've been telling residents is, listen, who cares about what I think? You don't sign any legal document like that without an attorney. I would never sign something like that without an attorney. Mm-hmm. So I was able to get an urban justice. So the 3 developments that are going under RAD in East Harlem that I'm aware of, I'm pretty sure there's more, is Gaylord Houses, Metro North, and Wilson. So all
around Washington houses.
So all 3 developments have urban justice representing them. So if you do need any help, please reach out to them. Mm-hmm. But it's, like I said, it's not about what I think or how I feel. You need to educate yourself and understand what you're getting yourself into. We as residents right now, maybe we can benefit from this RAD, but our children won't. The next generation won't, and generations to come won't. So we have changed how public housing is. And the homelessness is really bad in New York City. It's about to get worse.
Mm-hmm. Just imagine all those people that they're going to be pushing out of NYCHA. Where are they going to go?
They keep saying that they're not going to, but we don't know.
No, look at Batanzas.
Yeah, because you're taking somebody's word, right? This is another problem that we have as a people, right? As a people, we go, oh, you know what? He said he's not going to push us out. Okay. Guess what?
I want them writing.
I want to see it in black and white.
I want to show you something in history. It's in plain view. Okay. Guess what? The worst real estate deal in the history of the world was the Indians when they gave up Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? I bet they told them, we're not going to push you out. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a land deal. It was a land deal, right? And don't worry about it.
That's what they're doing now.
You know, and so it's the same thing. Here's what's mind-boggling to me. This thing has been going on for centuries, and y'all still ain't hip to this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they say, we're not going to do it, and because they send somebody there in a suit, and they're pleasant, and they smell good, and they smile, and they always send somebody that has like a soft demeanor about them, and don't worry about it. Then the next thing you know, you wondering why your ass is out of your apartment, right? Mm-hmm. Why they shutting down your projects. Stop. The problem is us.
Absolutely.
As a people. The problem is us because we allow these people to do these things to us. You know what I'm saying? Like we allow that to happen. Like, no, you gotta understand something. Here's my standpoint. Nobody forces anything on you. You can come at me all you want, but if I ain't moving, I'm not moving. I'm not budging, right? Unless you literally bring force. You know what I'm saying? And to bring force into NYCHA, to physically move you out of your apartments, well, that is a what do you call it? A public what do you call that? Oh my God, a publicist nightmare. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at what they're doing in the United States. They're just dragging people out of their apartments. So the problem is really us. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be honest with you. We can take it a little deeper. The problem is us, but it's been us for a very long time. The problem is and people don't want to call it what it is, the racism. Okay? Because let me tell you something. For as much as the uptick in gun violence, they always target NYCHA developments. As anything that goes wrong in any community, they always target the NYCHA developments. Why? Because majority of people that are housed within NYCHA developments are minorities. It's not just black and brown. Correct. They are minorities, and I'm gonna just say it that way. So look at the climate today. The Asians were attacked, correct? The Asians, you understand, and no disrespect to y'all went hard. And within 36 days, We have legislation. The president came out with something for the Asians. Excuse me, hello. I am a Latino black woman. Where is the rights for black people?
Don't get angry, Claudia.
I'm not getting angry. Yeah. But where are the rights for black people? Where are the rights for the minorities? They are constantly rolling back our voting rights all across the country. And America has to wake up and realize, because you have the justices that said racism is no longer, racism is here. Racism never went anywhere. And before America addresses any situation, we are tired of being put on the back burners. We are tired of being put to the side. And it's like, slavery. We know the injustices, but that doesn't, you know what? BS. It happens today, and it's so instilled that we do it to ourselves, not even realizing that we doing it to ourselves. That's why we wearing ourselves raw up against this public housing fight, because guess what? This is the fight of your life. You will be homeless. It will never be any type of housing like this ever again once it has been dismantled. And no, you got to understand too, in NYCHA, 90% of NYCHA are seniors. Mine might be a little exaggerated on that percentage, but I know it's over 50% of people in housing are seniors. That's why they rolling over this rad so quickly, because the first people who you target are senior developments. Look at it. They got 46 senior developments. 46. Who are the most vulnerable in our communities? The seniors.
William Armstrong says that the game that's been played right now all over this country and behind the lines and the scenes, they are even more manipulative, that's right, and deceptive to continue the racism and genocide.
Thank you.
And he's 5,000% right, because, before, racism was very much in your face, right? You just knew, and it was crude. Right, it was a very crude thing, the cross on the lawn and all this stuff. It was a very crude thing. Now it's very sophisticated. You know what I'm saying? Now they're sitting there and they're smiling at you.
And pass laws.
Yeah, and they're passing the laws to target you instead of burning the cross, which is really crazy. To the point that now they're passing laws so that you can't vote.
Absolutely.
Huh?
Listen. No matter what the powers that be, what it is, the Caucasians are afraid, because they are now and forever going to be the minority race. That's all it is. They're trying to clasp and grasp on to what they have left and change the laws so that we are always going to be the minority. So it's not just about housing. It's not just about, it's about everything. It's about everything. Adama can tell you about the immigration point. She sat here and she elaborated on some of the things. And I want y'all to go out and get her book, because guess what? You're going to hear those intimate stories that she couldn't give out here.
Yeah, because I got to read it.
There's a lot of
there's
a lot of Adamas out there. But that was my point in wanting her to come and share with us today.
Thank you.
What more? I'm gonna leave it in your lap.
I mean, you're a housing advocate, so I think it's time for all advocates from different fields just to collaborate. You know how it is. I don't believe in this is just my job. I believe in collaboration, working together. I think my biggest advice is you're gonna get burnt out if you work alone. So make sure you work with others in the community and make sure you make it happen. When it comes to housing, who do I go to? You. Claudia, they said this. What's going on? Break it down to me. But when it comes to immigration, you contact me, right? Absolutely. But it is what it is. But we all have to come together. Even with this RAD program, there's not a proper language access. They offered Arabic is not one of them. None of the African languages.
They need French.
And these residents live in the development, and they're acting like, oh no, everyone speaks English in there, everyone speaks Spanish in there. That's it.
No.
So
I'm going to date this back again. I'm going to go back again. Right? because it's interesting when you say something and then, I'm a big history buff, right? And I'm like, well, that was the same thing and the same reason that they kept the slaves apart, right? Because the first slaves that came didn't speak the same language. Everybody spoke different languages, so they couldn't communicate. Because if you wasn't from such and such a tribe, you didn't speak such and such a language. To the point that they had to develop their own language and their own secret language and obviously learn English. And then they kept you from reading. Well, it's the same thing, right? When you have these, because everything is numbers. Everything is people. Everything is people. So if we eliminate the immigrant populace, right, because they can't speak English, because they're hiding, right, because they don't want to be involved, well, that sort of makes the struggle a little weaker. And there was a study from the 80s that talked about, that the influx of the immigrant population when the whole Cuban thing was happening and all that stuff, that eventually that number one, the Latinos were going to become one of the biggest voting blocks in the United States, and two, that we would overtake the actual populace of the United States as non-whites. So that was something they were concerned about in the 80s. You know what I'm saying?
And we're afraid now because they see it happening.
Well, because the deal is this: if you're a Republican, you don't really stand a chance, because most of the minorities are Democrats, right? So you have these small pockets of Republicans, so they're really having a real problem right now, and that's why they're doing what they're doing with the voting, because they realize that they ain't got a snowball's chance in hell to be elected if they can't convert the populace.
They have to control the vote.
Right, to Republican, or let me limit the voting potential. See what I'm saying?
In those communities in which this is happening, the best thing I would say is beat them at their own game. Learn the game to play the game. Beat them at their own game. Start getting these IDs for the people that need it. Whatever the person needs to get into that voting block, get it there. Whether, somebody said it and it was kind of funny, but it made a lot of sense. They said you can't personally take water to the people. We have all these air robots. We can have them the same way, they utilizing them to do packages for the USPS, for the United States Postal Service. We can utilize them to send people water while they're standing on them lines.
Why not?
You understand? And guess what? If you know that voting day and it's going to be, buy chairs, buy umbrellas. You understand what I'm saying?
And bring your own water.
There you go. You can meet them way before the polling site. You don't have to be around that polling site. Just because they put these roadblocks in front of us does not mean that we cannot go over.
Cynthia says, on that language thing we were talking about, the separation.
We read in Minneapolis. Yep.
Greg West never brought the interpreters, and the majority of the tenants were Somali.
Wow.
Yep.
They never brought interpreters. So you held a meeting, but nobody could talk to you.
And that's what they do. That's exactly
what kind of clown shit is that? Like, really?
One of the things that I tell my undocumented community, yes, you're undocumented, but they tell you don't have rights, but you do have rights. The same laws that they use to detain me and do everything is the same laws I use to get my status in this country. So educate your community.
Let's pick that up again, y'all, because she is now becoming a U.S. citizen, y'all. I'm so excited for you on that, though. I really am. It definitely is. I'm proud of you. I really want to say that. I'm proud of this little young sister here because so much she's been through, and I know some of her struggle, and it frustrated me, and I would be pulling her something like, yo, come on, let's go. You know me. I'm like, ain't nobody going to do that to you. Let's go. I'm going with you. But at the end of the day, she's stuck with it, and this is something she should have had a long time ago, y'all. From the age of 2, for real.
To be
and
a
you've never been
States.
Convicted of a crime. You
never did nothing.
You understand? So it's a lot of us out there, and I want to highlight these stories. I love that your book is out. What's the name of it again?
It's Adama Ba.
Spell it.
Adama. My last name is Ba, Bah, and it's my story of injustice.
Yeah, you got. Anita already ordered the book, so Anita,
Thank you, Anita.
we're gonna talk on the phone. When the book comes and you get into it, give me a ring. Let me know, what you think of the book. We have a little book club about it. You know what I'm saying? We have a little book club about it.
I'm down.
And like read it and really discuss the book because your story is powerful. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, not a unique story, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what's happening. This is what's happening. You're just the one that's writing the story about it. There are a lot of, I dealt personally in my own life with, immigration situation and saw really firsthand what it was like to be in that situation. The amount of, how much advantage gets taken of you because if someone's aware that you're not a citizen, they are abusive. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people in this country and in this city that are maids, right? That are from, the South America that are abused by the people that are supposed to be paying them, right? And they're paying them pennies, right? That's why they do it. Let's keep it real. Because they won't get an actual maid service. They get an immigrant to come and clean their house for ridiculously low money, right? And then that poor immigrant person has to have about 3 or 4 of those homes in order to make rent. And then that's why you end up in those situations where you see there's, you're like, oh my God, there's 10 people living in that apartment. Well, yeah, you know what? Because it takes 10 people to pay the rent. Because they're not getting a fair wage. You know what I'm saying?
But I think the pandemic showed that.
The pandemic.
They realized, now that they need to get the vaccines out, now that they need to do outreach, oh crap, we just scared off a whole entire community.
Absolutely.
They don't trust us. How do we reach out to them? And guess who they're reaching out to? They're reaching out to me. They're reaching out to you. And it's like, you want me to use my trust to help you?
So then you can turn around and violate me.
There you go.
Right? In other words, it ain't your trust. They want to use your credibility.
Yep.
Right? And your integrity.
Yep.
And that's all you got in this world. You know what I'm saying? Your trust is you trusting them. What people look to you for is your integrity and your credibility. That if you sign off on this and go, this is good, your word is bond.
They're gonna do it for your face.
You're gonna do it off your you don't want to do that.
They want you to be the person out there pushing their agenda. And then when it goes sideways, we all know.
I mean, for the families that want it, I told them, listen, if you want it, I'll help you. If you don't want it, it's okay. As long as you understand what you're doing and what you're getting yourself into.
So one quick question. Would you say that when you experienced discrimination, was it just by law officials and NYCHA, or was it community-wise?
So I think East Harlem is very different, and you know that. Where I lived, everybody is friendly. But I think during the pandemic, when everybody was running around, how she get in this truck, she's undocumented. You get once in a while. How she get in this federal, truck?
Kind of never dawned on me, but yeah, I guess so. like
Are y'all serious? That never, even up to this day, I was just like, yo, food, I got it, let's go.
Right. Even you're saying it, but it's true, right? You're not documented, but you're getting federal aid. You know what I'm saying?
It's not my money, you know that. Right? But I think when you go through discrimination, you get it from anybody. So I've experienced it from everyone. And it's okay. You know why it's okay? Because now I know how to educate the next person on how to deal with discrimination.
Right.
There you go. And I'm just gonna say, I think we're about time.
We did it.
Oh.
Yeah. So what would you like to leave the audience with? Let's hear it.
58 minutes.
There you go.
I mean, I think we said everything. I think definitely reach out and get help. Know your rights. If you don't know your rights, they will take advantage of you.
And how can people get in contact with you once again?
You can get in touch with me through my social media, Gente My People, wherever you want. My name is out there.
What's the email address, Claudia?
I heard it there. MeGenteMyPeople21@gmail.com.
There you go. And she said 21 because it was done in 2021.
Yes.
MeGenteMyPeople21@gmail.com. So you can email us there if you want to get in contact. And how do you pronounce your name?
Adama.
Adama. I want to be correct. If you want to get in contact with Adama Ba, that one I had. I had that. Good. Then you can hit us with the email. You know what I'm saying? We can do that. And geez, Claudia, what are you gonna do next week?
Listen, it's gonna be live. We not gonna be in the studio next week.
Okay.
Like really quick, I want to tell all my residents who are listening, even the East Harlem community, why we were talking about food, because Food Distro is back, y'all. Washington Houses, we are starting every third and fourth Thursday. And we're doing it in the evening, y'all, because we want those families who also have jobs to be able to get the access to the food. So
when are you doing that?
We're starting this Thursday on the 22nd. It will be from 5:30 to 7:30. We do have a registration. You can see it. Go on to Gente My People page, or you can go onto the CC Perez page, and I have the screenshots of the QR codes where you can sign up for the Google Documents. We just need a little bit of information. We need your first name, last name, address, and date of birth. That's all we need from you to receive food. So we are encouraging you to sign up early. If not, show up 1955 2nd Avenue, first floor, Thursday at 5:30. You can show up and receive a bag of food. Plus, we're also getting our community refrigerator, y'all. Like I said, that's about to debut. That's coming before the end of July. I'm working with another organization, and I want to give a shout out to the Common Pantry. I want to give a shout out to Doug Silva, who's helping me do all of this. So basically how the refrigerator goes, anybody who lives in the development, outside the development, in the community, if you see something in that refrigerator that you want, you take it. No questions asked. We have people that will be donating fresh fruit, vegetables, pantry, bread, different items. I'm pretty sure Adam is going to help me too.
But,
Of course.
But yeah, that's coming up. And this is all year long. It's not just a summer thing. We're doing it again. We had a great feedback. So again, 1955 2nd Avenue, Thursday, the 22nd at 5:30. Y'all come out and get some free food. Saturday, we're having an all-out ball game in White Park in East Harlem. Okay, shout out to Michael Parker and Union Settlement and them boys over there. So far, we have, basically, I'm going to let y'all know what's going on. So basically, if you have a ball team, no age requirement, none of that. If you have a basketball team and you want to represent your development, you need to hit White Park next Saturday.
Word.
Stay tuned. Next Saturday, I say be out there from 12 o'clock. We don't have all the details yet because we're putting it out there, but definitely
And where is White Park located?
White Park is located on East 106th Street between 3rd Avenue and Lexington Avenue. It is a no NYCHA zone. So basically, what we telling you is Carver's in there, Wagner's in there, St. Nick is in there, Amsterdam is in there, Manhattanville is in there. We want the Lower East Side is showing up. So if you got some boys, you got a team, come out and show out. Mi Gente My People will be there to cover it live. So I see y'all next Saturday.
I might have to get my Melrose boys in on that.
Listen, let's go. Let's go.
I'm gonna have to call cousin Sid. Yeah.
You call who you want to call. Like I said, it's for bragging rights, y'all. And I know Washington gonna hold it down, so I ain't even saying. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, you ain't gonna even have your people out there. It's a no NYCHA zone. They ain't even showing up. Your people ain't showing up.
Listen,
They do show
up. To show up, they show up.
No, I know they do. Because we did an event and it was wonderful. And, and I feel like I got to pop up at more of these events because when she did the event, it was June 27th, right? And I DJ'd the event. And I never really get a chance to really feel the impact of the shows because everything I always do is here in the studio, And people were going up, and they were walking up and going, Rock Logic? And I was like, yeah. I watch, the One NYCHA show. I watch Mi Gente My People. I mean, I see the podcast. Yeah. Great job, and that was really
famous.
Yeah, that was really like energizing. You know what I'm saying? To know that people were really paying attention and that they come on, the Boardwalk Global Media platform to watch these shows. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I have to
You gotta come
out a
out to
little
the
bit more.
people. We
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
you. So
yeah.
we saying what we saying. No. Y'all need to stay tuned. September 2nd, y'all clear y'all calendars. We gonna be on the books. We doing big things.
We're going to do something, man. With that note, we're going to see y'all next week. Mi gente, my people. Big shout out to Adama Ba.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Claudia, we're going to chop it up, and we out. See y'all next week.
Good job.